Hey everybody, I hope that you've got a great start going to your 2018, and we are doing a series, although for some of you it might seem too late. I'm going to share with you why it isn't, on how to set successful goals to optimize your 2018. Now, if you've already set some resolutions, let me encourage you to consider dropping them, and that's not a discouragement like it may sound. You might want to upcycle those resolutions and make them successful goals instead of resolutions, because statistics show that 92% of people who make resolutions will drop them by February. So if you've made a New Year's resolution, let's take that resolution and mold it instead into a successful goal that you can sustain throughout 2018 and possibly, depending on the goal, keep it going beyond that. So this series is going to help you set successful goals and optimize all the areas of your life, optimizing each and every one of them so that you can have an amazing 2018, and it can go differently, much differently than the years past. You don't have to be a statistic and be someone who is doomed to failure by February. So I hope that you are interested in what I've got to say today. We're going to go over specific areas. So if you want to comment on the areas that you're interested in discussing first, I had a few comments last week. I'm still open for suggestions. So we're going to go over all the main areas of life in depth in each weekly video coming up in the next few weeks. But today I want to focus on what the basics are of setting an effective goal, because you have to know how to set a goal before we can get into the specifics of how to set these specific goals in areas of your life. So today let's talk about one thing you need to know is how to set your priorities. What is really important to start with, because you can't change everything all at once. You might want to optimize your whole life, and that's a great goal. And it's a good goal worth doing, but you're not going to do every single part at once. And you may not even need to do everything going on in your life that you want to see changed by yourself. You might need to delegate some things. So we'll talk about some prioritizing first. And then next we're going to talk about time management. How do you make time for things that are important? So that's why that's second, because obviously you need to know what's important first. And the third thing I want to talk about is the bare bones of an effective goal design. And these are some things that people have talked about in general over lots of life coaching sites, but I want to talk to you about how all these integrate together. So prioritizing, how do you know what's most important? One of the first ways to know something is important is that only you can do it. That's one thing that makes it important, and you can't delegate it. Another thing that helps you set a priority is that it has a consequence, and the consequence can link to things that last for you, things that matter to you. What is your ultimate why? What is the most important thing to you in your whole life? That's going to be how you begin to set your priorities on that foundation. If you don't have a sure foundation of what is your most important why in life, why do you exist? What do you want to be remembered about your life when your life is over? What do you want to continue beyond when your life is over? Those are things that are important priorities. There are things that are urgent in our lives that tend to distract us from our priorities, and you can't let that happen. You've got to make sure that the things that represent why you exist and will represent after you're gone why you existed and why your life mattered, those things have to be priorities. Know your dreams, know your ultimate goals in life, and all of your 2018 goals need to be prioritized accordingly. What is your biggest why? What are the things that tug your heart? What are you crafted? Where does your heart break? What was the thing that you just recently heard about that just like sizzled within your spirit, and you knew that was why you were created and that was your purpose? So those are things that are going to have to kind of bubble to the top of your priority list. And the urgent things need to be given space in your time management, which is the next thing I'll talk about, so that you're not completely having the rug drawn out from under you when a crisis happens and you lose your priorities. You need to do things that keep your priorities at the center. So prioritizing by the things that represent your why, your purpose in life, your very reason for existing, and the things that only you can do. So, for example, within all of the spheres of life, one thing that lasts forever, even after you're gone, is your spiritual part of your life. That needs to be a priority because that lasts forever. Even after this life is over, that's going to still be here. So that should be one of your top priorities in your life, is taking care of your spiritual well-being. And then second to that is your physical well-being. That needs to be a priority too, because again, like your spiritual well-being, only you can take care of that. Nobody else can do that for you. So taking care of your physical well-being, which makes you able to carry out all the other things that you do in your life. If you are suddenly physically ill, you're not going to be able to do the things that you were meant to do. So you need to take care of that too. And then your cognitive well-being, another thing that is so all those areas of your well-being in your life need to be a priority. The parts of those things that only you can do, that means put your oxygen mask on first before putting it on those people around you. Take care of the vessel that's going to be how God pours blessings through you into the lives of others. Take care of your spiritual well-being, your physical well-being, your cognitive well-being, and all of those things that only that you can focus on. So those are priorities. And then within your time management, you need to set up a plate or a journal and show just through a week's time, how do you spend your time? I know this is time consuming, but you need to know where your time is going in order to see where you have time, where you can make time. And you'll be surprised at places that you can make time. There are times that you can craft or repurpose or multi-purpose those slots of time that you wouldn't even realize. And there are times when you should not be multitasking. If you are doing your meditation and your prayer time, that is not a multitasking time. If you're doing your Bible study, unless you're doing something that doesn't require some other form of cognitive focus, that should not be multitasking. You can multitask a cognitive focus with a physical activity, but you cannot multitask two cognitive activities at one time. You will diminish the effectiveness of both of them if you try to do that. So if you're trying to listen to a book on tape while you are trying to have conversations with other people or navigate traffic or something like that, you're going to have a diminished ability to focus because you're still focusing cognitively on something. But if you're doing exercise, that's actually good for your brain to exercise and do cognitive activities. So if you're going to study and you need to find a time to work and study while you're eating or while you are doing a physical activity like housework that doesn't require any thinking, not sorting out your closets because you have to think about that, but vacuuming or something that you don't have to think about. You can do your cognitive activities while you're doing those kinds of chores, and it actually makes those kinds of chores less difficult if you're doing something that's interesting in your brain at the same time. So do those bipedal activities along with cognitive thinking and processing. That's kind of one of the theories that we have about why Einstein was so brilliant, was because he created neural pathways between different areas of his brain. He was doing bipedal physical exercise while he was thinking and processing and creating and dreaming. So if you want to increase your brain's capacity, if you actually want to offset some dangers of cognitive decline later in your life, go ahead and multitask exercise with cognitive focus. So you can dream, you can actually do some of your Bible study while you're eating or while you're doing some low-level exercise, and that can, like going for a walk and praying, perfectly fine. That's something that you can multitask. So you can multitask your exercise with some of your prayer and meditation time. You don't always have to be still when you're doing prayer. So that's a way to do some time management, is knowing what you can do together and what you can't do together. So go through your week and schedule out some times that you think maybe I'm doing some things that I didn't realize I was doing that I could multitask, or some things that I probably could cut out. How much TV am I watching? It's okay to watch some TV. It's not that it's bad. I watch TV as research. I watch TV as a way to spend time with my husband, but that's something I can multitask because I don't have to think about it. So I can do some social media posting while I'm watching TV. So that's a way to multitask that thinking time with a not so much thinking time. So I can't really read while I'm watching TV because that requires a deeper focus for me to get something out of my reading. but I can read while I am eating, or while I am doing something more physical with my feet or something like that. But usually if you're reading, you need to actually have your brain focus on what you're reading in order to absorb it fully. So know what you can multitask and know what you can't, and then look at your schedule and see where you can make time. What are things that you can delegate? Now, there are some things that you might not be sure you want to delegate because you like them done your way. So the things that you think you need to do your way, put those in a box by themselves, okay? And then think about that compared to your overall big priority. This is why I exist. We all exist to praise and honor God. Now, is getting this done the right way, your way, let's say that your way is the right way, and only your way, really necessary to your ultimate purpose for which God has created you? Is it really that important the kitchen gets cleaned your way? You know, could your kids maybe learn to do it, and would it benefit them to help and learn how to do it? Would it benefit someone else in your family to take on more responsibility? Even if it doesn't get done exactly your way every time. Letting go of some of your control issues can be a really great way to invite a life coach to help you if that's hard for you. But know what things really could be potentially delegated and more honor your overall purpose by letting go of those micromanaging things that are taking up so much time in your life. Is it worth it to hire somebody to do this? Some things are not part of your overall why, and you need to be able to get somebody in, maybe barter with them for a service that you can provide quicker than this thing that you're not so good at, like say yard work. I'm not really so good at yard work, but maybe I can trade doing some editing for somebody in exchange for doing them doing my yard work, which is not what we do at my house. But just as an example, something that you can do quickly for something that they can do quickly, and barter and trade out if you don't have the money to pay somebody to do that for you. And even just getting people to help you with things, that actually is an opportunity. When you allow to let go of things that you think you need to control, it gives other people an opportunity to do things that they could be good at that they don't realize they could be good at, or learn a skill that they need to learn to do well. They may not be good at it first, but that's okay. Let them learn. So delegating is a very important part of time management. And sometimes letting things go for a season and not having to have everything perfect all the time is important in order to get things done that you need to get done. So set your times out for the week and see what you do every day. Keep it on your phone so it's simple. You don't have to spend a lot of time just ticking in your Google Calendar, what did I do during this hour, that hour, every day for about a week. And then keep track. How much was I really focused? How much did I daydream? And as writers, sometimes daydreaming is part of writing, so don't feel guilty about what you did or didn't do. Just be aware of it. How can I repurpose that time? How can I multitask during that time and get more than one thing done if it's the right kind of multitasking like we talked about? So think about things that you can delegate, that you can help your kids get more involved in what they need to do around the house, because eventually as parents, your job is to get them to be effective as adults, and they can't do that if you do everything for them. So eventually they're going to need to learn how to do all those things. So time management is important. And a life coach or a training program can help you get into the nitty-gritty of your life and your time and help you really figure that out if it's hard for you to do by yourself. And then effective goal design. There is a design behind an effective goal. It's not like a New Year's resolution where you go, I want to lose some weight. I think I'll lose 15 pounds this year. Well, that sounds like a great goal, doesn't it? But if you don't set it as a SMART goal, and SMART is an acronym you may have seen before, and sometimes the letters in the acronym represent different things depending on who you look up the SMART goals. Specific for the S, measurable for the M, and then the A can either be achievable or actionable, depending on which one you look at. I like actionable. And then realistic for R. Sometimes people put relevant, and that would go back to my thing about where's your why. And then time bound. They all have to be related to some specific period of time. So let's look at what that would look like. For example, with a with a goal of losing weight. That's what a lot of people said is their goal for New Year's resolution. So we'll just go with that. Let's make that into a goal instead of a resolution, something you can sustain that you don't forget and give up on by February. So specific. Be specific about what you're going to do and make sure that it is doable. So specific, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. Let's keep it realistic, okay? I want to lose 10 pounds and keep it off. So I want to lose that 10 pounds by February or by March or by April. So if you were to lose a pound a week, let's give that 10 weeks. Let's not make it 10 pounds in 2 weeks. That's not healthy. Do something that's going to be realistic for the R. So specific, 10 pounds, measurable, you can weigh yourself and tell, and then actionable. What are you going to do to lose that 10 pounds? So now we need to go back to that goal. It's not just I'm losing 10 pounds. I'm going to change my lifestyle so that it's a lifestyle that sustains having lost that 10 pounds and keeping it off. So what are you going to do differently? Are you going to cut out a certain number of calories? Certain number of calories per day diminished will bring you a result of losing a certain amount of weight. I don't know if you knew that, but that is actually a fact. If you cut out a certain number of calories, that will diminish your intake if you keep the same output of calorie burning. What is a realistic way of looking at your diminishing your caloric intake? How much can you stand to let go of? Could you let go of 300 calories a day and keep that going forever? Yeah. Could you let go of 1,000 calories a day? No, not right away. And you're certainly not going to sustain that very long. So if you try to go on this really extravagant deep dive diet where you're cutting your caloric intake every day by half or more, you're not going to stay with it. That's just a fact. So don't even do that, because people will gain back more weight than they lose if they don't keep it off. You won't just find the weight you lost, you'll find some more with it. So instead of doing that, do something reasonable, like 200 or 300 calories cut back a day. You can do that and keep it off. And you can actually also, if you want to lose more weight and you want to lose it quicker and keep it off, find some kind of reasonable amount of exercise, because not only will that help you bring the weight off, it will help you be more energetic, and the exercise will help your brain activity, it will help you toward your other goals, and the exercise will also help your mood be better. So if you're not doing something to improve your mood and you're just cutting out your calories, you're not going to have the motivation to continue to stay with that diet. So keep it realistic. Do your homework on the goal that you're trying to set. So make sure that you are adding in exercise, which improves your mood and motivation, and that you are also reducing your caloric intake by a reasonable amount, but don't add in so much exercise that you're not going to want to stay with it. Don't make yourself miserable. Do something fun. Do something that's going to be made fun by the way that you do it. I do 3 times a week, and I've done this for almost a year now. I'm on a treadmill, but I'm not just on the treadmill. I'm on the treadmill listening to a great book that I enjoy on audio. So I'm really enjoying this book, and I'm listening to it every time I'm on the treadmill, and I don't have to kill myself on the treadmill. I've got my steady caloric intake that is pretty low. It's healthy food. I feel better when I eat it. I keep that diet going, and I'm on that treadmill listening to that book, and I know that I need to do it because it is attached to my overall why. If I exercise 3 times a week and eat a healthy diet, I'm going to be able to do my job better. I'm going to be able to deliver better messages. I'll be more motivating. I'll be able to think more clearly because my brain functioning will be better, and I will experiencing a better overall life longer. So my aging process will be more enjoyable. So those are many things that are all tied into my overall why. How can I best glorify God? By keeping my mind, my body, and my spirit in the best shape that I can. So I've tied my goal to my overall goal. And if you can do that and make all of your goals tied to your overall why, then you're more likely to stick with them. And remember, keep something that reminds you, this is why I am doing this. I'm doing this for a bigger reason than losing weight or looking how you want to look in this dress. I'm doing this for my physical well-being. If you want to be someone who's healthy as an older person, you need to be somebody that's healthy now. So think about making yourself healthy, not just how you hate how you look now. That's not a good enough why. So make it specific. I'm going to work on the treadmill 3 times a week. I'm going to take a walk once every other day. A 10-minute walk. That's an increase in exercise. Can you do that and sustain it? Sure. I'm going to do a 10-minute walk. I'm going to reduce my caloric intake by 300 calories a day, and I'm going to do that for 4 weeks. And then in 4 weeks, I'm going to buy myself a new book, or don't do anything that's food related, because then you're shooting yourself in the foot with your goal, but reward yourself. And then after that, I'm going to increase to a 15-minute walk. Don't increase it by a lot. Do something that's still fun. And while you're doing this walk, listen to your favorite music. Go with a friend. Do something that makes your exercise enjoyable, and you will be more likely to stick with it. So specific. I'm going to lose 10 pounds is not specific enough. I'm going to change my lifestyle that will help me to lose 10 pounds is specific. 300 calorie cutback a day, work out 3 times a week. And measurable. Can you measure that? Sure. I'm going to work out for 30 minutes. Mine is specific and time bound. 3 times a week is time bound, and for 30 minutes is also time bound. And it's realistic because I can fit that in at the end of the day and then do my housework for my cool down part after the 30 minutes on the treadmill, because I'm sweaty. You got to give time for that before you take a shower so that you don't sweat after you take a shower. But then you do the time bound 3 times a week, 30 minutes a day. And for how long before you increase it if you're planning to increase it? But if it works for you, once you get to the point where it works for you, don't keep increasing it. You don't have to be Iron Man unless that's your goal. You can just do what works for you forever. I mean, I could do 30 minutes forever. I'm fine with that. I don't have any need to increase that. So you get to a point where you just go, okay, I'm good. And you just stay with it. So sometimes people get so competitive with the way they set their goals that they have to keep going higher and higher and bigger, and they get so grandiose that they can't keep doing it. So do what's going to work within your schedule. Do something realistic. Do something that's action-oriented. Something that is sustainable, that you can keep doing forever. A lifestyle change is a lot more effective than a diet. A diet is not effective. In fact, it's not even fun. And that's why the word die is how we start that word. So don't even think about a diet. Just go and change your eating habits. Do something healthier. Cut out one thing that isn't working for you, that doesn't make you feel good. Or reduce it so that you only have it, keep it time-oriented, once every 6 weeks. Once every 4 months you can have this food item. Just make sure that you don't make it so impossible that you can't stick with it. So effective goal design, SMART goals with weight loss. You want to make it a lifestyle change, not just a weight loss. Specific, measurable. Are you doing the steps that you said you were going to do? Actionable, realistic, and time-bound. And then with a SMART goal, the best way to stick with a SMART goal is to have someone who will hold you accountable to that goal. If you have a friend or a life coach or someone who's a health professional, health coach professional, or a pastor or a parent or a relative, somebody that can help you stay on that goal, that'll check with you once a week. You can get together with some of the people who are commenting here and hold each other accountable. I think that would be great. We could be a community of support for each other. So here or online, comment if you'd like somebody here to help you stick with your goals. I think that we could be a really great community of encouragement for one another. So what are your questions? One of the things that I'm going to be offering during this series is a chance to enter to win a $10 Amazon gift card. So if you comment here or on my blog post at divineencouragement.com, I will enter you to win. And at the end of this series, somebody who is sticking with their goals or not sticking with their goals and just needs something to help them get something from Amazon to help them toward those goals will win that gift card. So comment about what you are most interested in achieving. What are your dreams? Your specific, realistic, measurable, actionable, time-oriented dreams that are going to make you the optimal you, the best you that you can be in 2018 and beyond. What are the areas that you really want to see us talk about here the most? I so look forward to partnering with you in this journey, and I look forward to hearing your comments. I hope that you have a fantastic first week of 2018, and I'm so glad that you stopped by to visit with us today. Have a wonderful and blessed week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.